credit journals. Now, what's important if you look at the credit journal, please, is debtors journal is if we sell on credit. Creditors journal is if we buy on credit. Both of them will use an invoice. With a DJ, we issue an invoice. But with a CJ, we receive an invoice. So now let's go look. Can you see? First thing I do, I look at my journals. I check. Is all four things there? The name, the business, the month and year, the folio, and all the headings. So debtors is fine. The journal, the business, the month and year. Oh, and I see this one jumped. So it's there. Everything is fine. Now I look and I see. I sell goods. Selling goods goes to the DJ. So get your marks ready. They say our document is invoice 321. So you can just number it on 322. Okay. So I see on the 15th, we sell to Radebe. We sell 7 thou. And now, I need to calculate cost of sales. So to calculate cost of sales, they told me my markup is 66.6 repeating. Remember? Can you see that little sign there at the top? It means it's repeating. Okay. Oh, that's very dark. So now I say 7,000 times, we want the cost, so the small is on top and the big is at the bottom. So I'm going to say times 100 divided 166.666666666, and it gives me 4,200. Then on the 17th, on the 17th, we receive the following invoice. Now can you see? This is like giving you a bank statement. They give you a document. And can you see I received the invoice? So it's a CJ. So what am I looking for? They say it's for goods that I bought. From big house, renumber A1. So I'm going to say A1. And then you somehow go on A2, A3. Till where it stops. Now I see, okay, it's big house. I'm going to use the creditors control because everything goes in creditors and what we bought. And we bought trading stock. So, how much? Can you see I'm going to take the amount after the discount, 17,370. Next one, we buy on credit. So if we buy, it's a creditor's journal. Okay, so I've got writer's ink, and they say, now listen to this. It's stationery, 700 for the business and 300 for the owner. So 700 goes to stationery, but 300 will be drawings. And can you see I don't have a column for drawings That's why I write it in sundry. So what's the total of the invoice? 300 plus 700 gives me 1,000. This is my debt. Now I go to number 27. We sell goods. So if we sell, it's DJ and it's Berry. And they say it was originally bought for 6,000. So they're giving me the cost price. Can you see? So I'm going to put the 6,000 in cost of sales. And now I need to work it to sales. Now because I want the sales, what will I do? I'm going to flip this. Né? So I'm going to say 6,000 times 166.6 over 100. And that gives me what? What does it give me? No, it gives me 10,000. Can you see it gives me here 9999999. So I round it off. 10,000. No, yeah, 1,000, 10,000. Yeah, 9,999. I make it 10,000. And now I total. There's no other transactions. May I speak alone? So I can just total this. And there's no transactions in the CJ Moore, so I can just total this. Yes. The what? When I post, the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I've written in the B's and the N's, right? Now you can see they gave me here the B's and the N's, so I have to use these numbers. So trading stock is B7, sales is N1, advertising is N5. The second thing I need to look at is, did I write trading stock is an asset, so it's a plus minus. Woo, now I see there's something missing. Can you see the long line? Balance sheet section, nominal section. I know sales is an income, so it's a minus plus. Advertising is an expense, so it's a plus minus. I have to make sure, can you see there's three things I need to see here. I need to see if it's an asset, liability, income, expense. I need to see if it's a plus minus or if it's a minus plus. I need to see if it's a B or a N. That's the three things you check on the top. Now, the plus sides will be the side where I put my balance BD. So before I even look, because this paper was friendly, it gave you the sides, but it doesn't mean that tomorrow's paper is going to be friendly. So you need to know your side. So what do I know? The side that says plus is the first balance BD. The first balance BD. The first, stop talking, balance BD. Can you see?
No.
Now I go look for the figures, and you can see the figures here. So I put in the figures. Trading stock, sales, advertising. Okay. Now I want to do the dates. So I go look, what is the dates? And I always go look at the dates of the journals. And can you see the journals is March? So I'm going to put here, March 31st, what is it, 25 and 31st. March 25, 31st. Yes. The 25 is the year. It's 2025. So now I already got marks for the dates, and I got mark for the balance, BD and amount. And I've got marks if I had to fill in those things at the top. So now I go look. What is my principle? You have to know your accounts off by heart. So trading stock is always on the debit side. Bank, CPJ. And on the credit side, now I'm going to write the date. It's going to be cost of sales, CRJ. Right. This is not something to understand. This is something you sit on your butt and you study. Now I'm going to go to the CPJ and I'm going to look for trading stock. Can you see the word says trading stock? So I'm going to the CPJ and I'm going to see, is there trading stock? Yes. So I'm going to take that figure, the 17.9, because this is how much stock I bought cash. Right. Then I'm going to go to the CRJ. Is there an account that says trading stock in the CRJ? No. Then I go and I look for the cost of sales. And there it is. So I put 7345. This is the cost of the goods I sold. In other words, I paid for it 7345. Can we stop talking? Now we go to sales. So, you can always remember, except if I go to cost of sales. My T's will always work like this. The debit side will be CPJ, the credit side will be CRJ. Except when I go to bank. Bank is CRJ, CPJ. Can you see they work across? Can you see that? Okay. So now I'm on the credit side. So I'm going to put my CRJ. And because this is cash journals, the only account that works different is cost of sales. All the other accounts. If I say CRJ, I'm going to write bank, because the money was going into my bank. Now what's the account's name? Sales. So I go to my CRJ, I look for sales, and I put that 12495 here. Now, sometimes they will ask you to balance the accounts. Sometimes they will ask you not to balance, but the other ones you need to total. Then it means you need to total this. Get a total amount here. Then you add the two. Okay. Advertising, can you see it's on the debit side? The debit side is a CPJ. And it's cash. So now I'm going to look for the account that says advertising. Do I see advertising? Yes. And it's 1620. So if they ask me to close the accounts, I'm going to add this. You see. Everybody shop with us. I know they didn't ask it, but I'm going to show you how to balance the trading stock. So, when I balance, I look. Which side is the plus side? Then I go and I total the plus side. What is the plus side? It's 0, 0, 5, 4, 4. Okay? This is step 1. Step 2, yes? Yes, I added the balance and the bank. Now my step 2, can we stop talking? My step 2 is on the other side on the same line. I'm going to write the 44,500. Can you see that these two amounts are exactly the same? Can you see it? These ones are the same. Okay. Now, can you see this side? There's a line open. So I'm going on the minus side. I'm going to say balance CO or CD. That's step 3. Please stop talking. Yes.
When you took the 44,500 and put it on the other side, I'm confused because when you're supposed to take the 17,900 and put it on the other side and then...
No. Remember, you want to put the whole side. So that's why I added all of this. Gives me 44,500.
So ma'am, if we are putting it to the other side, we have to...
So you take the total. Because you want to balance and the two sides needs to be the same. Okay? So now, what does this side short? Because I only got 7345 there. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take that 44,500 and I'm going to subtract the 7345. You see? This is my step 4. And that's going to give me how much? 35. 55. Can you see? This is my balance. Now, I'm going to take that whole thing and I'm going to copy and paste it here. So I'm going to say balance and the CO is going to change to a BD 371550. Can you see that's step 5? And now what did we calculate it wrong?
Ma'am, why is the balance not that?
Oh, sorry, that 0 mustn't be there. It's at 5 only. Thank you, baby. Now, lastly, I'm going to say this is the first day of the next month. You see?
We're going to get this one first. We're going to get this in this one.
Yes. So, this is balancing and there's lots of videos and I did put extra small videos on the group as well on the first term. So go look. Now, if I look here at the bank here, I have to balance again. So it's the same thing. I'm going to show you again. Step 1. Firstly, I want to see this bank is an asset, so it's a plus minus. Right? So step 1. Step 1 is I add the plus side. See? Step 2. Step 2 is I put that amount on the other side. Ooh, now I have a problem. Can you see I added wrong? What must it be? 200. Nee. So now I fix it. This should be 200. Meaning this should be 200. You guys must work with me, ne? Everybody fine? Now I write balance CO or CD or BD, BF. Ne? BF is also one. Now I say 200 less 180 gives me 20. I copy paste. I say balance BD 20. The first of the next month. So, if I look at a trial balance, ne? I'll have the name of the business, ne? I'll say trial balance or the name for whatever month it is. Now please listen. So it's got two columns like this that says debit credit, and then it's got a folio column. The first thing, please listen, the first thing I need you to look at is there's two sections, and the first section I need you to be sure that it's the name is there, and that's the balance sheet section, right? And you have to make sure that your folios is there, B1, B2, B3, B4, B5, because you're going to get marks for that. The second section is your nominal section. So make sure that the words are there, the nominal section. And that would be N1, N2, N3, N4. Make sure you number, because you'll get marks for that. Now, your balance sheet section, your famous accounts in there is capital, which would go to the credit side. Drawings, which would go to the debit side. Then your assets like land and buildings, vehicles and equipment. So let's say vehicles would be debit. Trading stock. Can you see? Debit. Bank. Bank can be debit or credit, ne? Petty cash. So let me quickly make a little note for you. In your balance sheet section, I'm going to write here at the bottom. Let me make it smaller. Here. Your balance sheet section is capital, drawings, assets, and liabilities. Okay, what liability do you know? You know one liability. Creditors control. Well done. So, creditors control is a liability. but debtors control is a asset. Okay. In my nominal section goes all my income and expenses. Right? So, your famous ones is sales, which would be credit, cost of sales, which would be debit. And then expenses like telephone, salary, wages, ne? And incomes like rent income will go credit. Okay. Now, in the end, these two figures here are going to be equal. This will be equal. So, in other words, if I tell you the total here is 70,000, what are you going to do? You're going to put this side 70,000. Okay? So that's already a tick. Now let's say I gave you figures. I gave you capital is 50,000. Ne? Sales is 15,000. But I don't give you rent income. Can I calculate it? Of course you can. You can most now see. 50 plus 15 gives me 65. So what am I short? Okay. So in other words, we call this a balancing figure. You see?